कस्तो सानो आवाज हेर मेरो
बडा ठुला
ठुलो हेर
छ हो बहुत बहुत ठुला ठुला आइरहेको
भर्खर त स्टार्ट भएर चाहिँ गेम कहिले स्टार्ट हुन्छ
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the PUBG Mobile Global Open Brazil. That's right, PUBG Mobile
नेपाली
Esports
छैन
is
है
back. I am Hot Jukes and making his debut on the global stage.
अर्को
My man
त्यसमा छ
DK, bro, how are you feeling today?
नेपाली कास्टिङ आज
Jukes, I gotta
छैन
say, I
रहेछ
am
अरू
super
चाहिँ सबैमा
excited
छ
to be here.
भन्दै
I mean, I think we're in for an absolutely jam-packed day with so much coming out on the battlefield.
Man, I feel like I've been hibernating for way too long. It's so good to finally see some PUBG Mobile esports. And let's go ahead and take a look at the format so we can show you guys how this is gonna go down. Live in Sao Paulo, Brazil. So players have already been here. They have been playing for quite a bit here, DK.
Yeah, I mean, they've been working, grinding all the way back from the 3rd of March, starting with those online qualifiers, working their way through round 1 where we had it was open to everybody that could participate in the region, and then we concluded with only the top 128 teams to see who's going to move on to be into the top 32.
That's right, and then the qualifier started there on the 28th. We are now here on today, the 30th. So it has been just dwindling down little by little from 32 teams. We have now reached the top 16, baby. So that is where we are at today. And man, we have some monster squads here on the roster here, DK.
Yeah, Jukes, I think it's going to be an absolutely insane day. As we know, we've got our top 16 teams that made it through the qualifier finals. Well, rather, that's here today, right? The top team, of course, who wins today's event is going to get that direct seat into the main event. The rest of the teams, though, they're still going to have to do a bit of grinding all the way over in the prelims.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to be there, right? So I think that this is what I love about this format is it's really a race for first place because in all honesty, there's no difference between 2nd and 8th. You definitely want to make top 8 at a minimum, right? But if you get that first place spot, you're headed all the way to the big show coming up on the 5th of April. So mark your calendars, guys. We're going to have 8 teams coming in from the prelims. One team that is going to winner today, and then 7 more invited teams, DK.
Oh, I mean, the names just keep on stacking up as we progress further and further through this event. Of course, the team's also playing for that lion's share of $500,000.
That's a lot of cheddar there. $500,000 on the line as these teams go hashtag beyond the top. So, guys, it is one heck of a show here. You can see one more time. This is where the breakdown is. The partnership teams coming in for the first time as well, DK.
Oh, yes. I think this is going to be pretty interesting. I mean, we've got so many strong teams already represented within the partnership teams. And, I mean, adding them onto the main event potentially as well. I mean, this is just going to be such a crazy event.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. So, if I'm one of these names on the list, I definitely want to get that first place, but it's going to be hard because there are some big names here in the qualifiers. And for anybody that's been keeping up or has been lately, it's all going to be Team Falcons, baby. That's going to be the big eyes on the prize that we're going to keep an eye on here because, man, this is one heck of a squad if you want to break that down.
It is going to be an interesting one to see what the teams are going to be doing. But of course, as we know, right, they are going to be playing for a share of that prize pool. The qualifiers alone is broken down into $64,000. We've got the prelims worth a little bit more, but it's the main event that the teams are going to be chasing, right, to lock in all that bank as much as they can find.
Yeah, and basically all those teams are going to be just trying to get these points on the board, right? A winner chicken dinner is going to get you 10 points. 9th through 16th is going to get you the goose egg. So really heavy on the eliminations here. But if you look at those prize pools, divided up between, now the qualifiers and the prelims, that share of the prize pool is make it, right? So you really want to make sure that you just keep on trying to punch your ticket so you can get that big share of that prize pool come finals times. And you can see these are the 4 teams. Team Falcons, if you just look at that roster, is insane. And for those of you guys that don't recognize those names, that's right. That is the ex-stalwart esports team, the second place qualifying team in the global championships last year. So this is the team to beat, obviously, by a hefty
ये
margin.
तो अहिलेको लागि मात्र के फेरि
I mean, talk about setting the standard pretty dang high, right? Going up a team that played PMGC, placing second, that is some pretty high stakes.
Rook
But of
Esports
course, we've
भन्ने
got even more teams coming through, right? We can see Rook Esports also being represented here. We got the High Fives. We got Gizmo making their way through. Wheels of War. So a few interesting names, and I'm pretty excited to see what these teams are going to be bringing to the battlefield.
Yeah, me too. Because I mean, they want to make it straight to that finals. It's going to be really tough to go through those prelims coming up because we got a lot of those teams. The partnership squad's going to come in, and that skill cap is only going to get higher and higher and higher. Here's 4 more squads we got coming up. I see quite a few Brazilian team names that are mighty familiar. You got Intense Game there, Pmgo Gaming as well. These squads, they've had quite a few roster swaps here. So they've been faltering quite a bit in the past, but you know, hopefully we could see them return to might here in 2024.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about the roster swaps, right? Money makers, right? Those names look familiar. We've seen them in several other teams, and it's good to see, like, you know, a bit of a mishmash of teams grouping up to see what they can accomplish themselves. Of course, moving on, we've got Horaesport also that's going to be represented here. We got the Zebra Master Squad rolling in alongside the Invictus team, as well as Faction Brazil.
Oh yeah, big names here, and man, I'll tell you what, during the qualifiers we saw some big squads not even make it to this spot here. So these guys have just been working tirelessly to get to this point. And here's the schedule that we're gonna be playing today. That's right, we're starting off in Sandhawk, baby. So we're gonna go straight to the jungle. I mean, it doesn't get any hotter than that. And then we're gonna go three Erangels and 2 Miramars after that. I kind of like this format because it lets teams adapt to the map a bit. You know, you're not having to switch back and forth. So it's going to be a true testament to see who deserves that prelim spot.
I mean, talk about stepping it up, right? Starting on the smaller map out of the 3, then working desert action. I think it is going to be a hot and sweaty day while we get to the end of it. But first off, of course, it is going to be that rumble in the jungle to see what the teams are going to be bringing in, and just looking at the players, you can see them just trying to get that focus locked in.
Oh, you see the knuckles are cracking. You see players staring back and forth, and look at that squad right there. These guys are just looking calm and relaxed, ready to go here today because they know that they got this. And as far as for those teams that you guys didn't see during the qualifying matches, we did see Team Falcons end up the top team in their group. So they ended up with the most points. A lot of these squads have had some time to be able to research each other. They know their drop locations. They know what's up. But at the same time, this is the first time we're seeing this group go together at all, DK. So it's going to be really important, I think, this first match to set the tone for the rest of the day.
Yeah, and I think it's no better map other than doing it on Sandhawk, right? You got to get up close and personal, maybe even a little bit sweaty. I mean, these teams, these players, they are sitting opposite each other, so I think that just adds somewhat of the pressure they are going to be experiencing here. But of course, look at this, you know, it's all chill. It's all chill back in Brazil.
Qualified round
every single player just like, hey, play it cool. Play it cool. I'm not nervous. I'm fine. I'm ready to do this. I mean, this is tough. I mean, the hardest part about this tournament, or at least this qualifier finals, is that it's only one day, right? So there's no, you know, multiple weeks to get used to other squads. It's really just time to put up or shut up for these squads, and that's hard. That is really hard here. I'm gonna ask you this question. In this scenario, I want you to see if you can just pretend to put your coach hat on for me, DK. Okay? So we got Coach DK here. If you're one of these teams, and you know that these other squads are nervous, do you think you tell them to play aggressive off the rip to take advantage of these nervous squads, or should they just play it calculated, considering that it's really only 6 matches that's going to decide your future?
I mean, I would lean a little bit more onto the aggressive side, right? Might as well just capitalize on the available opportunity. If you know the team sitting across from you might be feeling a little bit of those nerves, try to get it, right? Because there's a great opportunity to try and capitalize on it. As you've said, 6 matches, right? It's going to be make or break. Whatever you miss, that is not necessarily an opportunity that you'll be able to recuperate.
100%. I gotta agree with that. I think especially the fact that we're going into Sandhawk, which is an aggressive map
Păi
already
să
as it is,
buzane
right? You gotta make sure
ce-a
that Gunsmith
corrinde.
is warmed up and starting off strong in Sandhawk. Oh my gosh, is that going to be just like a breath of fresh air going into the rest of the day? Having those points on top is going to be huge. So I think that's what a lot of these squads should try to attempt, right? Is really just just keep the pressure up, and just start strong.
I mean, I think consistency is going to be key here. So there is a lot of opportunity. As you've said, right, the teams, they've had a bit of an opportunity to research the opponents, get a good feel for what they could be expecting to come through here. But as we've seen time and time again, making your way through the different stages of qualification, teams tend to change the way that they play. So I think today is going to be a super interesting one, having the top squads from both groups now having to bash it out.
Yeah, I mean, they don't really have that, experience playing this entire group together. It's their first time really playing as a squad. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. And, the fact that we're starting off in the jungle, I think that the fact that it's only one Sandhawk today, I think you can play a little bit riskier at the start, because you got 3 Erangales, you got 2 Miramars. That'll allow you to kind of just get used to what's going on. At the same time, man, going out early is going to be tough, because then your fingers are going to be cold going into that first Erangale. So I really wondering what's going through the minds of these IGLs. It looks like we're getting these players are getting ready to go here soon.
Yeah, they're getting ready to rumble, so there is going to be a golden opportunity just waiting around the bend for someone. But speaking about someone, right, I'm looking at that team in the top right corner. Okay. Right. The money makers. Yeah.
Good name.
I want to see what team they're going to be bringing to this jungle.
Oh, I do as well. As we get started for the first match of the day. We're going into Sandhawk, baby. Players are locked and loaded in the plane. And we're getting ready to start dropping here as we start seeing squads already head out the plane and get going. Let's get it going here. I'm excited.
Well, Jinx, I gotta say though, this is looking like a pretty decent start though, coming out here. I mean, the flight path nice and central. The teams, as it is on Sandhawk, can pretty much access just about any point that they would wish to get themselves situated. So I'm curious to see if we're gonna have any potential coming in, looking into our usual suspects. Up into Paradise Resort, maybe a little bit over here into the boot camp, right? Expecting Lobster maybe to get hot.
Oh, well, you know what? I doubt that, because guess who's there? It's Team Falcons, right? Team Falcons dropping dead center. And I did say it'd be great to play aggressive, but not even I'm stupid enough to try to hot drop this squad right now. And, that's what's so huge is there's a big mental factor inside of PUBG Mobile esports. For as long as I've been a part of this game, it's so huge. And, the great part about dominating the qualifying positions and just being such a strong name team, you create that fear surrounding you, right? And when you're in a game where look at the first zone, we'll get into that in a second, but we're looking at a game where tenths of a second matter, right? If you delay even a little bit, your whole squad can be wiped out. So if your Team Falcons coming into this, and if you're in a different team and you knock a player from Team Falcons and you realize that, hey, this is that squad after you maybe get a thirst one or maybe they thirst you, you're going to be like, oh, it's Falcons, oh my gosh, be careful. And that little hesitation is all it takes for them to capitalize on you. And this squad, they do not mess around. If they see even a little bit of gap, they're going to go ahead and jump right over it.
I mean, they've got the confidence, right? They showed that all the way back in PMGC. So I think a lot of that prowess is going to pull through into how they're going to be performing out on the battlefield. And as we said before, right, they know what's at stake. It's that top spot that's going to be taking them straight into the main event. And World 2 to 9th place is going to be yet another battle, even more opportunity just working their way through the prelim. So yeah, definitely going to aim for the top slot, yeah.
Absolutely. We got a nice northern circle here. It's going to be a little bit tough for the likes of Intense Game who landed on that northwestern island. So they're going to have to start really hurrying up and going here to get across that bridge. And it's going to be tough because there's already quite a few teams gatekeeping that position.
Well, let's see if anyone is going to maybe be able to slide on through. I think another interesting spot here is what we are seeing with the Hi-Fis.
कति
Nice
के
presence
views
that
छ
they've got up in towards Paradise. I don't really see
कति
anybody
के views छ
looking
हेर्नु
to
त
contest just yet. So I think this
What's the
this
game?
buys them quite a bit of an opportunity, right? They can
कति
get
के views
themselves
छ भने
properly set it up, get some good gear going here, and
What's
then once we see where the next phase is
यहाँ
going to
क्या
be taking us, they can make
यो
that
के यो
call.
भिडियोको
Yes, they can. So let's see what call they're gonna make. So right now we're in that looting phase, and this is definitely the
यतिरा पनि
calm before
कतिजना
the
हेर्दै
storm.
रहेछ
So
हेर
no hot drops, and that is what you want to avoid at all costs. What I do want to see is I want to see some rotation here.
होरको
I
लाउनु
want
न
to see
त
some
होरको
teams
हेर्दै
get looted up, try to be able to get in a position to camp some of these teams on their way
किन
in, and we're starting to see that happen. We see Falcons already, trying to get up and going and leaving boot camp as soon as possible because they know they got to get to that northern circle
there's a copyright
pretty quickly here. Now we do have some teams all the way on the south side. They're gonna have to make that rotation on up, and you can see them just being very, very patient right now. Nobody wants to go out first.
Yeah, I think it would sting a little bit being the first team to get their ticket punched, and I mean, definitely going to try and play it for the long game. So I'm curious to see if anyone's going to potentially try and maybe rotate up towards those northern sides. I mean, looking at Gizmo that we have all the way on that far western edge, they've got pretty decent access at least to the immediate bridge, and then maybe rotation up into Cow.
Okay, well let's see what the play is gonna be. We're starting to see just some teams trying to get some intel here. Falcons are going to go ahead and drive on away, and it looks like they're going to be able to make that rotation safe. So no worries on their end, as this is definitely that calm before the storm. I do like seeing this kind of gameplay because every single time we get to a global stage, this is the place to look at. So there's teams, players from all around the world just glued to their screens right now, trying to learn from some of these guys here because this is truly the best of the best going at it.
And I also like the fact that we have such a strong Brazilian presence here. I mean, yeah, sure, it is happening in Brazil, but still just looking at, as you've said, players from around the globe participating in it. And I think it's also a good opportunity for a few of these teams really to kind of measure themselves against a team like the Falcons, for instance, right? To see how they'd be able to cope, and maybe they could learn a few strats along the way as well.
Yeah, Brazil is looking to finally put that belt around them, right? That global championship belt. And, they've been able to secure so many different positions and top placements in almost every single region. But that PMGC is where it can get just harder and harder as we're looking at the first battle here. Moneymakers on the push. Insanity Esports on the defend. A nice thirst there. Here comes Silence. Trying to get the second knock. Barely misses.
Oh, no. Moneymakers quickly just trying to patch themselves up. Talent, though, getting picked up. Beautiful S12K hits. Up comes Biscay. Risky play, and that is it. Clean wipe, though.
Wow, that is the first squad wipe here for our first global event of the year. And it's going to be Moneymakers. You were talking about this team earlier. They do lose one, but hey, picking up 4 points at the start, can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, it's gonna feel pretty nice at this point. So it does set the standard of the bar, at least to some extent. But of course, you still got to look what's happening over on towards this western side of the zone as well. And this is where we've got a nice little bit of a lineup, right? We've got Gizmo slowly just creeping their way on forward, and as you can see, Bro trying to see if there's maybe a bit of opportunity into the compound.
100%. You can see them on the move a little bit. Every single team saw that finish there. So we're down to 15 teams looking to continue on here. I like the fact that we did see that battle early because Sandhawk is one of those matches that's just so unpredictable, right? The zones move so quickly, and if you just get in the wrong position, no matter how good you are, there's nothing you can do. I mean, it's so difficult to run in the open against 16 teams in front of you just blazing shots. So I think the fact that you could just really hustle and try to get those early eliminations just to kind of hedge your bets is definitely the right strategy. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, especially on a map like Sanok, you got to try and hustle as best you can, right? I mean, things can go south really fast on this game, so you got to try and bring up as much as you can. I mean, even looking at Insanity Esports, at least they went out with a point, right? They got that Elam, so it counts. They're not going to be sitting with a donut or a bubble on that leaderboard. And now, hopefully, they can bounce back in the remaining matches of today. But first up is going to be down to where this next phase is going to be taking.
Yes, so let's see where it's going to go.
Now in stage 2.
So zone will be
2
closing
देखि
in
9
1 minute,
सम्मको
and
प्लेयर
Nick's
चाहिँ
team looking to
प्रिलिम्स
continue
खेल्ने
here,
हो
trying to press up really close
त्यो
on the
प्रिलिम्स
top side of the
हेऱ्यो अनि क्वालिफाई
map.
भएर
Let's see. Oh, the DBSs are
20
out.
टिममा फेरि
Locked and
त्यहाँबाट
loaded.
8
Seven
आउँदैन
with a nice little shot there. Ooh, gets popped in return. Trying to get this initial first knock, and he gets it.
Ooh, wow, that was a quick response coming through, but Inko not exactly out of the woods just yet. Still have quite a bit of work to do. Here we go, Nene now. Trying to knock on the door, try to see if they can find the opening. But for Nene, this is a very risky play, though. Super low on the HP, but Nunez comes in clutch.
Beautifully done there. And we're going to see Martinez try to be able to throw that nade off. Doesn't get it in time. His whole team's down. I think he's going to try and make a play here. He's in a 1v1 situation. He goes for the push, trying to get those pre-fires with that DBS. Oh, great play from Inko, realizing, hey, we got one isolated player. Let's not try to get into a 1v1, but they do it anyway. And they lose a player pretty needlessly, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, that was a good play coming through from Vitali. Just closing that one up, of course, securing their second elim. But as you've said, yes, they did lose a player in exchange. Sometimes you just got to pay the toll, I guess.
I don't know about that one because, you know, I think Inko did a great player because we saw a potential 1v1 happening, and that player instantly realized, like, hey, there's only one left. Let me just back off. We'll all push together, and we'll get him 4v1. But maybe there was a little miscommunication as, you know, they end up having one player go in anyway, and they lose him right there. But you know what? They still got the squad wipe, so good for them. As we're seeing the Edge of Paradise Resort get finished out. Man, a lot of teams are going out here early.
I mean, it's called Paradise for a reason. So, yeah, there's still, I think, a little bit of sweaty play that's going to be cooking down towards that southern side. But speaking of the south floor, I mean, we've got the players here from Ruch also trying to pick up a little bit of the trade, going up against the Zebra Masters. Ooh, Atsu getting taken right on down. Let's see whether or not Zebra can line this one up. Maybe get a quick finish on Ruch.
Was the bank open? Looks like it is. Oh, actually it isn't. Okay, so it doesn't get that finish, but goes and gets that knock there. And oh man, it's so difficult to be inside the building in this position because you know you're gonna get so much utility thrown at you. It's really tough. So Zebra Master definitely have the edge here, but they don't want to take too long. The longer this fight goes on, the bigger chance a third party's coming.
Yeah, now it's going to be the opportunity to push, and I'm pretty sure that Ruch is expecting that kind of play to come through from the Zebra Master. So I like the spread, a little bit of their awareness coming through here. Ooh, Zagnov, good nade. But now, are they going to be able to find that last bit? I mean, looking at Zebra, right? They just chilling. They just taking their time.
Yeah, they're taking their time here, but they're out in the open and not in a very safe spot. They're luckily that they're so far on that edge that with this zone shift though, it can get hit. So I think if you're Zebra, yeah, you can see them on the move, looking to finish this out sooner than later.
Well, now it's all still down to the final push door. I mean, we also did see the Death Wolves getting sent away. Oh, come on. It's so close. Oh.
All right. He gets one. He might get the thirst. He does. Oh, and we're seeing this happen quite a bit, DK, right? Where we see a player pretty much all done and looks done for, but is able to steal a quick elimination before he goes out.
I mean, it's all about timing, right? You might get the first initial few shots, but if you find yourself in a slightly vulnerable position going up against these teams, I mean, you know what's coming your way.
For sure. I think that once these teams are fully like warmed up, you know, we're not going to see those mistakes where players are getting lost like that. But, you know, the problem is that you only have 6 matches today, right? And it's going to decide whether you keep on going towards that big prize pool or you go home. And that is not what a lot of these players have worked so hard for here, as we are seeing Bold in a pretty good position here on the edge of the map.
Yeah, I mean, quite some distance out into the blue, but I mean, it's still stage 3, so the blue's not going to hurt all that much just yet. But they do have, of course, the players there from Hurrah just positioned up ahead. Faction Brazil, though, they're going to be camping out these compounds. Great opportunity up onto its Gizmo. Let's see, is the follow-through going to be there? Hoping for just one of those pixels to be out of place.
I think if you're Gizmo, you do not want to open up this opportunity for a knock. I think play it safely, try to get some angles. Ooh, that peek was so dangerous. It's just not worth it at this point. They're on the edge of the circle. You know they're coming anyway, so I think just suppress the fire, wait for that zone to come on over, and you'll be good to go. And look at this, Falcons on the buildings in a excellent spot. They have so much vision, and they are just trying to lay down the law here in the first map.
I think they saw the hashtag, go beyond the top, and that's why they got themselves on the roof, trying to see just how far they can actually take it. But in the meanwhile, we do have a few of those casualties now starting to line on up. Gotta say, Faction Brazil, though, is still looking nice and steady. Not such a big fight over on towards the edge of the zone here, but I think there's a lot of ground for them to try and make up here.
Yeah, let's see how they decide to do it here. Is this stage 3? Can definitely start to spice things up.
Oh,
No,
no,
though, where it's just an all-out war. Oh, okay, there we go. This is what I was talking about. Gizmo just leaving themselves out a little bit too open. In this kind of position, a team like Faction Brazil is desperate, right? They need that knock to be able to get a shot open here. So if you're Gizmo, you have to be extra careful. Just let the zone play it out. But getting that one-player knock is going to make things difficult. As we head on back over to Paradise, though, we see Intense Game looking to do some gatekeeping, but no. Well, this next zone, they should still be in, so they can definitely wait a little bit.
And I think that's part of the process, working your way through Paradise. There's so many nooks and crannies to just hide in and gatekeep teams as they start pushing forward. I think there's going to be a lot of pressure now, especially looking at the players from Gizmo and, of course, Faction Brazil. They have to try and find a way forward. For Gizmo, the big threat is going to come through from Falcons, just lurking on the edge of that zone.
You can see Faction Brazil, yeah, they were able to make it out alive. And they're trying to sneak through Paradise here. And it looks like they do have a little bit of an angle to sneak their way in. Meanwhile, Zebra Master down to 2. They do have 4 eliminations, so that's going to help a little bit. But they know that's not going to be enough, because at the end of the day, we're looking for that first place team. Because if you are first place at the end of the day, you're going to get an automatic golden ticket to the finals. And with the rosters that are going to be coming up here, that is what I want. I do not even want to deal with the prelims at all, because it's going to be all-out war.
I mean, unfortunately, we have to see what the prelims have in store for us, right? We are going to be adding even more amazing teams into the mix. But yeah, the stakes are going to be pretty high for whoever makes it through. But for now, it seems like we have a little bit of that silence now creeping up into Sanok. I mean, good play coming through here from Faction, slowly just pushing in, clearing compound by compound as they push up, maybe even getting a little bit of that parkour action going here. But this could be a golden opportunity onto Hi-Fi's now.
Yeah, you can see them set up for the gatekeep. They're very spread out, though, not in really good positions to support each other. So that's going to be tough. They got to play this carefully. That's why you see them kind of playing very kind of hidden positions where they could leave, but not in the spots where they're at, they can't get knocked at all. Yeah, I like that from Dream. He realizes that, you know what, it's just not worth it. Yep, almost gets shot in the back and leaves perfectly on time. Great instincts. So we might see another player get knocked, and he does. And this is what I was talking about. Oh, actually, great support through the wall. Smokey with a perfect shot.
I mean, you gotta love the plays, though. Monkey just on the point with that play. Now it's up to Snowix and Dream to see if they can survive. Well, they do find yet another pickup, and now this is where Faction Brazil is going to be feeding all that pressure, right? It's going to be a 2v4. Scratch that. It's going to be 8 elims going straight to the Hi-Fi's.
Wow, Hi-Fi's doing a great job of putting control there in Paradise Resort. They really collapsed on Faction Brazil. They got that one knock, but weren't able to make it happen. So some excellent knocks here from Hi-Fi's as the next zone does go on up here, and they are going to have to leave Paradise.
Gotta give it up. Gotta give it up, but not before going through quite an intense fight, right? You can see Zeus. Ooh.
Nice shot. Man, Hi-Fi's so good with those return knocks instantly. Where's the rest of Intense Game? Yeah, they're going to have to come and collapse and take this team out. Good thing for Hi-Fi's, though, these guys are warmed up and ready to go with 8 eliminations, as they're trying to sneak some shots through those elephant legs there. Not able to find the angles, so looks like, man, Hi-Fi's doing a great job here. Getting those knocks, returns, pickups quickly, and Intense Game doesn't seem to have that same level of synergy, because these guys are still spread out. They're going to lose a player now.
Ooh, let's see whether or not is maybe a little bit of hope here now left for High Fives. I mean, starting to move, they don't have all that much choice really, because as we can see,
Like
Zoran
ni
isn't
गरिदिमै
closing
गाइजहरू
up
को
in
हेर्दैन
less
हुन्छ
than a minute, but I think there's even more
30,000
pressure getting
ले
added on,
हेर्नु
right?
भइसक्यो
Falcons,
चाहिँ
they're getting
7 लाइक
closer.
मात्रै
Zebra Master,
Oh
they're
my
getting
God.
closer. So whatever High Fives are gonna look to do, they really need to get to it right now.
Oh my
त्यत्रो
gosh,
टाढा
Rafa
नि
needs
सर्ट
to
भयो
get it done here, but you're so right as we see Falcons putting so
I
much
know.
pressure onto Intense Game, getting a bunch of knocks from their backs. And now it's just Rafa. Oh, that nade should do it though. Oh, it's a stun! He hits a headshot with the DBS some way, somehow. But it is not enough as High Fives are continuing to steamroll players here on the edge. Definitely opting for those eliminations. Oh, I wonder if we're going to see a player pick up and, you know, throw them on your shoulders and run into this circle, because somehow this team still has everyone up.
Wow.
Wait,
I mean, this is the fight that I've been wanting to see. Moneymakers going up against Team Falcons. Both teams now fighting for possession of at least that western edge, but the zone is going to move up. So this is going to force, well, the Moneymakers to make a very difficult choice. They have to move in. Oh, but Biscay taking so many hits now to the face. It's going to be up to top to try and close it up. And there it is. Falcons swoop in for yet more elimination.
I mean, these guys are ridiculous. I mean, look at the confidence, right? Literally running out in the open, even though we see one of the players from Moneymakers has the cover with the rock. It doesn't matter. Top realizes, hey, we have to finish this. We gotta get this side out. I don't care. I'm running out in the open and getting it done. That's exactly as what happens. If we smoke on the defense, our DBSs are out in that close quarters combat. They're running a 2-1 split. 2 in the front, 1 in the back, and it did not work out as their remaining player is going to have to try to just hide replacement.
Well, they're getting smoked, right? That's what happens. So we're all right there. Yeah, we're going to say goodbye to Sky pretty soon. Now it's up to No Fear, and I think this is where they really got to prove their worth, right? The name suggests that we are going to be seeing some pretty insane plays, but that is yet to be seen. Meanwhile, it's still going to be down towards the southern side, right? Zebra, and of course in the base, the High Fives now looking to score even more points.
Yes, they are, as now we are reaching the top 4 here for the first game. PUBG Mobile Global Open Brazil. So much is on the line. Only 1 day of play. For anyone that's just tuning in, it's only 6 matches. This is match number 1. High Fives have been just dominating this match so far. 10 eliminations to their name and still have their entire squad up. Now they're going to start the push again. And look at this. They have the numbers here. They got the DPS out. Now it's all about just execution. One well-placed nade from the other team could wreak disaster. And they get the circle here. So they got to get this finished out quick.
I mean, it's now or never, right? They're going to try and just lock it up. But, of course, the Falcons are going to come knocking on the door. At least for the time being, Falcons taking a very wide spray, trying to cover as many different angles as they do ascend down onto the zone. But this is where the pressure comes for a team like Zebra Master as well as the High Fives. But, I mean, Smokin', they just chilling up on the north. They also still have to relocate.
Okay, I think that now High Fives need to just turtle it up. I think they need to look at Zebra Master and say, hey guys, you know, we got the Falcons on this side. We need to worry about them and we'll deal with each other later at this point. But they're starting to get pushed as well. This could be perfect opportunity for Team Falcons to start this push, because look at this, High Fives having an absolute all-out war, and the Falcons are just watching this, smiling as just chaos is happening inside these buildings. High Fives are hurt.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be difficult to contest the amount of elims that they've already been able to secure so far, but it does seem like Zebra Master are going to go do a little bit of cleanup in aisle 4 as they now make their way through the compounds, looking for a few cheeky pickups, but Falcons still winging it, still holding on to the edge of zone, and they're not going to relent whatsoever.
Oh my gosh, I was about to say, speaking of cleanups, Team Falcons are licking their beaks right now, just ready to pick at these Zebra Masters. They have a full squad spread out. Hey, don't count out Monkey though, right? They're on that edge. I mean, he's dangerous. You know, if Team Falcons, I don't think realize that he's in that position at all. I think they think the entire squad is in there. You can see them checking just to be sure, but if they run out in the open, Monkey could definitely come off from that off angle and disrupt them big time. So they got to play this carefully. Ooh, great nade though.
Yeah, that's a very uncomfortable tickle that's come through on that one. But of course, Icy still trying to do the due diligence here, just trying to smoke it up.
Does he know he's there?
Not yet. Not yet. No, Zed also just gonna be looking.
Got him.
Ooh, come on.
They have to know he's there. Yeah, they have to know. If not, then they got that fifth sense going. You can see them starting to push out now. Oh, he does go down. So that's high fives out. Here we go. Top 2 teams. Falcons do go down though. It's a 2v1 out in the open. He's gonna have to hit some crazy shots. But guess who's on top, baby? It's Team Falcons winning the first match of the day. The most hyped squad coming into this. Second place in the global championship. They're on that new roster and ready to go beyond the top here.
I just gotta ask you one thing, right? What sound does the Falcons make?
Or it's actually not good, guys. We're like,
whatever,
right? But you know what? I'll tell you what. Whatever sound, every single team in the lobby heard it. Because I mean, it's just so crazy that not only do they win the first game, but it's on Sandhawk, which is not even necessarily like their most crazy map, right?
Yeah.
So for them to start off with not just a chicken dinner, but a 14 elimination chicken dinner. Oof. I mean, these other teams are gonna pretty much have to rally together to take these guys down at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, talk about marking your territory, right? That is exactly what the Falcons did. They just threw feathers all over the place. They claimed the spot, right? They said Sandhawk is ours for the taking. And it's no surprise, really, to see them perform like this, right? We did see them back in PMGC also performing exceptionally well when it came to the map of Sandhawk. So, yeah, I'm super excited as for the outcome of this game.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see these next 5 games coming up because, like I said earlier, there's no real difference between 2nd and 8th place, right? You want to definitely make it into top 8 so you can guarantee your spot in the future towards the prelims, right? But that first place gets you that direct invite to the finals. So it's going to be interesting to see because these teams know, right, where Team Falcons like to go. And it's going to be interesting to see where they really put themselves. But you know what, guys? We're going to be right back after this short break. Don't go nowhere.
Horaesport
And we're back here as we got the highlights. So we can see how this game went down. And you can see the Moneymakers getting some great shots. It was beautifully done. And man, I'll tell you what, this Falcon squad, they are ready, locked, and ready to go.
Yeah, but I gotta say, this was a really good start, though. First match of the day, everybody turning up with the aggression. We did see so much carnage coming through here. And I mean, you said it before, right? Good warm-up. Teams really getting those fingers all nimble and ready to rumble. So, yeah, expecting some pretty intense gameplay to come further as we progress onwards. But high fives, really good possession that they had up in Paradise.
Oh, yes, they did, dude. The Real Me highlights really showing what they can get done, especially against intense game. It's so crazy to see them last all the way to the end as a 4-man squad. Yeah, they got taken out, but that's because they were in the most dominant position, just getting shot from every single way. So I think they definitely need to hold their heads up high and just get ready to start some good old Aaron Gales coming up soon.
I mean, we've got a heavy dose of Erangel coming through here today. 3 matches back to back. So there's going to be a lot of opportunity to bring in quite a bit of change.
Oh, yes, indeed. So you can see here the damage that was done. Oh, my goodness. 2,500 damage, 14 eliminations. High fives were definitely working for it. They got that dozen, which is a great game, right? And the way that this format is, I can't stress it enough, right? It's all about first place, so they could definitely not let off the pedal at all coming up.
Yeah, I mean, the pressure is definitely going to be on. So good starting play here for the Falcons. I mean, high fives, as you said, but also then we look at Moneymakers, right? Securing themselves those 8 eliminations. Zebra Master also bringing in a really strong presence here, securing themselves those 7 eliminations. And I love these damage counters. They are so steep. I mean, 4 teams hitting an excess of 1,000 damage. So that already speaks a lot to the aggression that we've seen out on the battlefield.
Yes, sir, indeed. It's time to go ahead and see who is going to be that actually the match rankings here. Let's take a look here as it is going to be high fives in 2nd place with 17 total points. And it's going to be Team Falcons on top with 24. So I was kind of alluding to it a little bit earlier, DK, is the fact that, you know, since first place is so desperate, teams are going to know where the Falcons land. So I wonder if at a certain point, a bigger stress for multiple squads are going to be to try to take them out, so that way they can still have a chance for that golden ticket. What do you think? Because they're now,
I mean,
in my opinion, there's a big target on their back.
Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree with you on that one. I mean, especially being a team like Falcons, as you've said, right? They are a well-known team. There's so much footage at looking at how they play, where they drop. So there's a golden opportunity for teams to try and contest them. But I think Falcons, they also up for the challenge, right? They just sitting around and almost like begging the teams, like, I dare you, push me. I want some free elims.
For sure. And honestly, I think, even trying to get into a fight earlier on can be dangerous because they're just so good. But maybe just trying to land near where they land, try to take them out on their rotation. I know a lot of these teams did their homework. Anything to disrupt them. And if you could do that earlier on, right? Let's say if you just go into this first Aaron Gale, you know where they drop, you camp their rotation, and make them second guess themselves, right? That could disrupt them for the next 2 matches. So I'm interested to see if that will happen. But, at the same time, when you have so much pressure, only 5 matches left, I wouldn't be surprised if we see every team just kind of stick to what they know.
But I think at least having a triple Erangel lineup is going to provide a golden chance for teams to kind of rectify whatever didn't go exactly according to plan, either in match number 1 or the first Erangel. So there's going to be several opportunities. As we know, of course, the zones are going to go in different places, but I think Erangel will definitely be the map in which we see the teams really start to lay a super solid foundation moving through for the rest of the day.
100%. You can see here the MVP, of course, it's going to be none other than Team Falcon Zed, getting it done there. 6 eliminations, only 53 healing. So, man, this guy was just running around having fun at this point as you look at his highlights. Crazy shots here. Just coming up on, he just was chilling. And that's the crazy part is we saw like Hi-Fi's just having to push every single squad, and Team Falcons were just in the perfect position, just taking down point after point after point.
I mean, it's going to be pretty tough competition, right? Sanok now done, dusted. Now it's time for a little bit of the bread and butter, right, that we are going to be taking a look at. And I'm curious to see whether, as you suggested, right, teams are maybe going to try and, test their luck when it comes to the Falcons. Maybe we could see an early game disruption happening.
I want to, because honestly, I'm so tired of seeing teams just kind of stick to that, same level of play, constantly just doing the same thing over and over. When you know what's at stake, you have to be able to adapt, in my opinion, right? Because you know that, hey, if we get top 8, that's great. But we need first place. So if we could do anything we could do to get that little extra edge or make that even a possibility, that would be huge. That would be huge. But you know what, guys? Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back after this break.
Yeah, vanilla. Itar, bahan. Suruh.
एक चिकन हाल्दा होला सुत्नु पर्छ गान त्यसपछि ओ सागर
Soldier.
बुस है क्या
Bruce Willis. तिमीहरू त अस्ति दिन्छ कति दिन्छ
ओके
कसले खायो चिकन खालगानले खायो
फाल्कोन
सुतेछ भाइ मिलाउनु भएको थियो
होइन हौ तिमी निदालाई थाहा छैन मलाई सुत्छौ तिमी
हजुर
सुत्छौ भने
उठेँ हो नि
ए उठे रे My God, लास्ट हेर्नु पर्ला जस्तो के भन्नु यो लास्ट एङ्गल हेरेर चुज गरिदिउँ है
हो त गाब्रो एक गेम सकेन भर्खर
यो कुन दुनियाँमा छ हो
सुतेछु म त कति मिनट सुतेँ
सुते होला नि भनेपछि 10 मिनट जता
त्यो टाइम लाग्यो त म्याच स्टार्टिङ
मिनट अब कस्तो यो सेटअप हेर्दै नेपालको पारा जस्तो छ अर्गनाइजरले आधी पैसा खाएर अनि आधी पैसाको मात्रै सेटअप गरे जस्तो क्या रेडी भयो केटा चिकन 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 चाहियो
कापडवाला है कापडवाला यहाँ त्यहाँभित्र
8 7 6 5 4 3 2
अस्ति ढिलामा
go
Welcome back, everybody. Here we go, getting ready for match number 2, and we're headed into Erangel. What you said earlier, right? It's the bread and butter of this game. So we're gonna really see who deserves that first place spot. But like I said, I want to see things get mixed up a little bit. It's only one day, you know. There's not a difference in prize pool between 2nd and 8th. It's all about just qualifying, right? The only prize pools given is to those players that don't make it, and that's not a prize pool you want. You want to get that big boy money coming up here soon. So hopefully we see some teams mix it up here soon.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to go for the consolation prize. You want to go for the big one. So, yeah, also got to give a big shout out for the Realme 12 Pro. It elevates your photography experience with the 120x super zoom and performance in games.
There we go.
How to be a portrait master.
के मोल
10 मिनटसम्म के गरायो तिमी
ब्रेक कस्तो छ ब्रेक 10 मिनट हान्यो मोबाइल हेर्नु के मोबाइल हो यस्तो यार केटीको पर्स जस्तै सक्दैन
Make it real, baby. Make it real and get ready to go as we get into match number 2. Here we go. We can start seeing these teams start to head on out. So we're going to see 3 of these today. And a couple Mars to finish it off. So you know what? I will say this. I think that teams should definitely go for their trade and two here and now. I think if you're feeling a little bit spicy, maybe try to camp the Falcons rotation. Maybe if you're nearby, you know what I'm saying? But I think right now you just try to get those consistent points, get a feel for what everything's going on. If the Falcons do well in this game, I think that you're gonna have to try and stop them sooner than later.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that. It's got to be your cue, right? I mean, if you've ever wondered when would be the right time to step up, yeah, it would be especially after the Falcons. If they have a good game here. Speaking about good game, though, Insanity happening right here in the early game. First Elam already secured. You can see Marlon not wasting a single moment. Surprisingly enough, the zone actually relatively spread out. Sure, there is a little bit of contention over here up towards Rozok, but looking at the rest of the spread, I mean, the team's pretty well situated.
No,
yes, they are. So let's see exactly. Well, we're gonna start seeing some knocks already, and that's gonna be all of the hi-fi. So this is gonna be up in Rozok here. Let's see how they opt to play this one. Silence is stuck at that tree. He's gonna try to get this nade off. If he gets it, it'll be huge. And it does come on in, taps him up a little bit. That is going to allow him to be able to push up to this building. And here we go. It is a 2v2, extremely undiluted. This is really tough fight here. He's going to have to hit all these shots. One shotgun blast and he's gone.
But I think this is a super important play, though, for Insanity, right? They had a little bit of a bumpy start over on Sanok, so this is the opportunity. Ooh!
I was about to claim. I saw that push, and I just like, I closed my eyes for a second, and I started, you know, saying goodbye, because I saw that shotgun. There's not much you could do when you don't have a vest like that. So, yeah, I like the fact that, you know, Insanity are staying true to their name. They're just like pushing, playing aggressive. But this is going to be 2 games back to back where you go out really early. So, I think after this, you definitely got to have to calm things down a little bit and put some points on the board.
Well, and I mean, they are going up against a pretty aggressive team, as we saw in Sanok, right? Hi-Fi is coming through with those 12 Elams, so they've already set quite a bit of a standard for themselves. Insanity, pretty much on par with what we had over on Sanok, but now, are they going to be able to kind of wiggle themselves out of the situation, right? I want to see all of them just try and apply as much pressure as they can onto Dream and Monkey. Hopefully, they could secure themselves those Elams and even more playtime here.
Yeah, let's see what the plan is. They're definitely on the move, and you can see Dream. Trying to catch some angles. Yeah, Insanity with that knock. It's gonna be pretty huge here. They go for the push, and again that pump shotgun, just destroying the dreams of Insanity for now. They're gonna have to get this knock though really quickly. He's gonna go for the open hardcore pre-fire. But
Nah.
high fives!
No.
That pump shotgun is just too deadly.
Oh, well.
Oh, little taste of your own medicine, huh? How's that feel?
I mean, the best response
Yeah,
to the shotty is
yeah.
yet another shotty to come on through, but it's not over just yet. Now it
Oh,
is. Beautiful throw there from Snowix.
Woo, threaded the needle. That was beautiful indeed.
Give me
So,
time there.
a beautiful play. Unfortunately, gonna lose 2 in the process. I wonder if Inko is gonna push this. They could. They definitely could, but I think that this is always a difficult push because you know you're going wide in the open. You don't have a lot of intel. You know what's at stake. And it looks like it is only Vitaly here in this position. So yeah, I think he's just gonna hold it and try to see if he can sneak a shot off.
Well, it doesn't seem like the rest of Inco are going to be looking to reinforce just yet. We do see something on the horizon coming through from that southern side. So maybe Vitaly is just going to be waiting for reinforcements, a little bit of that backup before they look to apply the extra pressure.
Yeah, here they come, and here they are. And if they were paying attention to the feed, which I know they are, there's going to be 2 players only left for high fives. And if they realize that, I will not be shocked if they push this. Honestly, they really need to, right? Any point that you can get is going to be huge. They know exactly where he is, especially on that back bunker. Yeah, here they come. Inko looking to take advantage of this play, and this is why we talk about trying to avoid those initial like head-on fights as much as you can, because if you lose a couple players, you're going to get third party to take it out. And high fives, we saw them, right? Just a real scrappy team, able to kind of make it out of really tough situations. This one's looking really bad, and I think that's why we see Snowix already on the run.
Well, I mean, either on the run or a cheeky reposition, because looking at where Snowix is going, I think that could actually afford them quite an opportunity here, while Monkey, of course, is going to be looking to distract Inko as they push in, but now it's going to be go time. Monkey now has to bear all, as Inko, they just going to break down the doors and rush on in.
No.
You know what? I guarantee you, Monkey's telling him, I'm safe. Come to me. You know what I'm saying? Monkey's like, I'm safe, dude. Come here, help me out. I got him. You know, no, he's not. He's saying, run for your life, bro. Oh, no, he does say, I got him. He did say it. He said, come on now. He gets knocked. He has to make it happen with a jump shot. Oh, he gets another knock. So huge. 3 elimination. Oh, actually, no, Vitaly from the angle gets him down. Oh, but he does take a couple with him. Heck, I mean, that's the best case scenario, I think, when you know you're going to go out, right? At least get a couple points.
I mean, that was a beautiful strat for it. I'm not going to lie. I mean, high fives, they stepped it up. Beautiful off-angle play coming through there from Slowix, but Vitaly just taking it that extra little bit further. I mean, what a change-up that was. And, well, speaking about change-ups, we're going to be looking over onto Zebra Master to see if they can maybe bring something in here onto the side, of course, of the opponents, right? We've got even more players just hiding in the wings up ahead, and the pressure keeps on building. Faction Brazil, not going to be feeling any heat just yet.
Yeah, they are not, but I'll tell you what, man, that was the play so far of the tournament. That 1v3 was beautiful. And if he was able to get that finish, it could have been, you know, it's solidified as the play of the tournament so far. But you know what? We'll see what happens next. High Fives did go out with 6 eliminations, so that's pretty good. You know, at least to make it into top 8. But that's not going to be good enough for first place, because we do see Team Falcon still alive and well. So we'll see what's going to happen here as we're looking at Faction Brazil right next to Pachinki, trying to just hold this position for now. Nice little central zone, so nothing too atypical. Very centralized here on the map. So no surprises here for these teams.
But this is where I think the position of Zebra Master might be a slightly better one than we've got here for Faction Brazil, because we've got all these high grounds surrounding Faction's current positioning. And I mean, if you look over onto Zebra, they can just peer in all the way from up on that church hill and just bring so much pressure into whoever's going to be looking to contest, especially coming in from this eastern side or western side.
Oh, nice little shift on over towards Gatka. That's going to be an interesting one there. So let's see, as the Ted's game are going to get pretty blessed in this position. This could be a good opportunity to put up some good points on the board. Meanwhile, the squad that we were looking at, Team Falcons, right, are all the way near Novo. So they're going to have to push on up. Meanwhile, Faction Brazil just waiting to see which teams are going to try to run out in the open. And that was going to be Zebra Master losing 2. That's going to be tough.
Well, it is going to be a pretty hairy place still to go. As you can see, men are also just hiding that vehicle away. But now, up comes the opportunity for Faction to maybe bring an end to Inko. As you can see, Vitali just rotating on up. But I think this is where we are going to be seeing quite a bit of heat now starting to be drawn up into the lovely Picado up ahead. But here we go. Faction, gotta watch these angles, though.
Yeah, they gotta watch them, but they're pretty safe here, right? Slaughterhouse is such a great position to hold because, you know, you're surrounded pretty much by all open air. You can see any team pushing at you from any
Jadi bila
direction.
outro
That's
malah
why you
masuk
see them a
ya.
little bit split up. The only real weak spot is this
Ye last
garage
door,
right
so this
here.
is
So if that warehouse, if it does get pushed on, they're gonna be in trouble. But if they're able to hold it down, I mean, it's a really, really soft position this map. It's kind of hard to leave though if the zone does shift in the opposite direction.
Yeah, that's going to be one to see, though. I mean,
I
we're
don't know
still
when you get
some
that.
ways
Yeah.
away from
You do,
our
man.
stage 3, so a lot can still happen in the meanwhile. As you can see, Gizmo is starting to spread out.
Hello,
We're
Benny.
also now trying to utilize as much of the available space, but looking over onto the place here from Wheels of War, they're going to have a little bit of company knocking on their door potentially.
Yeah, right now they're just gonna be
What
holding
are they?
down these
How lovely.
blues, staring to the sky and hoping the zone comes to them. I mean, the great part about this place is that, you know, if the zone does shift in any direction, you have a pretty good rotational path to try and at least get there. So they're not in a bad spot yet, but they don't want to move unless they have to. As you can see, Be Bold just trying to find their best position here. A little bit late to this rotation. Actually, pretty late. They are way on the edge of the circle, so they are still rotating on in. And little do they know that they got the Falcons creeping up behind them. And this could be a strategy for the Falcons, just knowing that, hey, you know, we already got so many points in Sandhawk. We know what we're capable of. Right now, let's just be consistent. Put some points on the board.
Yeah, I mean, nothing wrong with a little bit of that shock and awe play coming through. But I think a big challenge also then for Be Bold is going to be Ruch. That is going to be applying pressure from on the edge of that zone. You can see Ruch also now starting to push up a little further down towards that southern side. So it actually opens up a great rotational pathway now for the Falcons to get themselves established.
Now let's see how they opt to play it. Oh, and they get a pretty good solid zone for them too. So they don't really have to go too far. You can see them just trying to get healed up, prepare for their battle, playing it very, very cautiously here. And this is what the advantage of having such a strong first game really gives to you, right? You could just kind of just play it out, put some solid points on the board, and just continue to just hold on to that first place for the rest of the day.
But Jukes, then talking about holding on, right? I think for Smoke, also that southern hilltop that we just saw them on, that is also going to allow them quite a bit of a vantage point, especially looking at the sheer number of teams we have that are yet to rotate on forward. I mean, speaking of it, here we go. It is going to be Miyaki just packing in some heat.
You can see him there trying to hit that Car 98 shot out of the vehicle. And meanwhile, we got Myth popping him out. Indeed, you can see them trying to head to that little pipeline right there on the edge of the map, but they are just getting picked apart. And Team Falcons seem to always put themselves in the right place at the right time. Gonna go ahead and steal one of those eliminations right there. Actually, yes, or maybe they don't. No, they don't. So I thought they did end up getting that, but it was Smoke.
Yeah, they try to swoop in, but they just missed the play. Now it's going to be Miyaki up on the hill. Nice bolty shots raining in across the way. Icy.
Lead him.
Ooh, this could be tricky. Come on.
Oh. Buff the bolt actions. Come on.
Yeah.
We need it. We need that bolt action buff because that would have been so hype if he got that knock there. Oh, goodness gracious. Meanwhile, you see Top and the Falcons go ahead and starting to take that pipeline position. Intense game. We're going to be spreading out right here just on the side of Gatka. These buildings are a very, very, very strong spot because if the zone heads towards Pachinki, you just head right up that hill, disrupt any team that's there. Let's see what happens, though. Where's that next circle going to go? Meanwhile, we do have quite a few teams, and it does look like Falcons, instead of going towards that pipe, are going to head into this outer edge of Pachinki.
Well, they're going to have to really try and blaze their way to get a good foothold moving in here. I mean, I got to say, I honestly like the zone centering up like this up onto Pachinki, but a quick little trade going on to Be Bold out in the open. Maiki definitely looking to pick up as many pieces as they can. And of course, now Falcons just welcoming Be Bold up into the zone. Absolute carnage. All the utilities now starting to fly on forward. But, I mean, looking at Falcons here, Jukes, they just chilling, right? Looking so confident on the edge there.
Yeah, unfortunately, they did lose 2 players, so that's going to be pretty tough. But at the same time, you know, they do have some major players still up, top being one of them. Oh, they are going to maybe even get this res off. So I thought that he was gone for sure, but he crawls his way up. Beautiful smoke wall there from Falcons. And they get a very favorable circle shift. So they don't have to move too far. That's going to definitely help them out big time. But all those teams, you can see them there on that northwestern side, are going to have to start pressing up against each other.
Yeah. I mean, talk about opportunities. I think Gizmo, they are just so primed for whatever the zone is going to be bringing to them. In the meanwhile, Death Wolves, though, knocking on the door, trying to get a beautiful play as they come in onto the players here from Invictus. But, yeah, Inko also going to get backed up. So many teams feeling the pressure, feeling the plays. And with that, we're down to only 12 now remaining. Invictus, I mean, what a quick sweep that was.
So fast, and that's perfect timing there. They definitely wanted to get that done quick, because you can look, there's only 6 seconds left on the clock, and they are still outside of this circle, so they're gonna have to push in here top, using blue zone to his advantage. I love this. He's gonna be throwing all that utility there, and he does get that knock. So just apply that pressure, let the blue zone do the work for you, but it's really up to him to gatekeep an entire squad. And they're gonna, if they come in one by one, they're not gonna stand a chance. They really have to work together here on this push.
Yeah, it's gonna be safety in numbers, at least to some extent. But now it's gonna be David.
Oh my goodness!
Getting picked up as well. So slowly, top just hacking away at the side here of Be Bold. I mean, talk about pretty tough position to play. Meanwhile, Moneymakers also gonna be feeling the heat. As you can see, Icy taking quite a bit of damage here. Smoke Gaming trying to push in. They want those points on board. They do get yet another knock. And Moneymakers now down to a 2-piece.
Just so much pre-fire here. Smoke do end up losing another player. So here's a 2v1 position here on this edge. Myth might even go for the 1v1 though. He does have the high ground, but he's got to be careful. Here come those crouch shots. That Buggy just doing such a great job of supporting him, and he does get that knock.
I mean, that was an essential play, though. I mean, especially for the Moneymakers, they were relying on that survivability to happen right there. And unfortunately for them, I mean, Smoke Gaming, right? They just got them out of that hole and sent them right on back. And meanwhile, looking up on towards the northwestern side of zone, it's going to be the Royals of War trying to get their way into this. But, I mean, I like this position here from Hurrah, right? Up in Headshot Hills. So many angles to try and play off of.
100%. That's what I love their position is, like, no matter where the zone goes, they're going to have a path on him, but they're definitely going to have to fight their way through it. And Royals of War, going for the run over. And it looks like they do end up getting it. And, the Wolves in screaming towards the sky right now as there's only one player left and he is done for. So great push there from Royals of War.
Yep, that's what you got to do. You got to get the rush in. Speaking of rushes, though, intense game. Now also going to try and capitalize on a golden opportunity, but instead it's going to be CeeLo to get taken on down. Zeus Boy, Rafa, and the rest of the crew. Really got to watch these angles. But will they be able to secure it in, though? I mean, Royals of War, they just absolutely pumping on the adrenaline. You can see them now just moving all over the place, trying to get these angles secured. Who knows? I'm looking to see this fight now break up between the two.
Oh yeah, Tonka looking to drive that truck around and take out some more players, using it to just get some angles, get some information, trying to play it safe as possible. They are outside of this circle, so they know they have to rotate, but this is the hardest part of PUBG Mobile is timing, right? You have to decide when do we decide to push into this edge. Do we want to go early? Do we want to go late? And I don't blame them for trying to go late in this position. Intense game with a crazy rotation. Do end up finding a spot safely, pretty central in this circle. So that's going to work out for now. And then now, meanwhile, Gizmo going to have to make a play here on top. As Intense game got their DBSs out and ready to take this building.
Well, they're going to unpack all the gizmos they have in their bag. As you can see, Bro just trying to clear out that staircase. I mean, this is a tough play, though. Bro, they're gonna have to make some magic happen here, right? 1v3 up in the compound, the rest of the team just holding up on that hillside. Not quite sure whether or not we are gonna see Gizmo, well, have Bro survive this position. In the meanwhile, everybody else still trying to get themselves secured as they move in. Up comes the push though. Intense. I mean, slowly making progression up the way.
They're gonna try to make a play here. Bro is gonna come down and just keep disrupting them little by little. You saw him place that gas can right there by that door. So he placed the gas can right there near that for that door to blow it up in case they do try to push up again. Meanwhile, you got Zebra Master applying pressure to both of these teams. I think if you're intense game, honestly, at this point, I wouldn't even mind having Gizmo on that roof. Just have him on the roof. Just focus on everybody else. Deal with him if the zone shifts. Because right now you got to worry about just every other player in the wake.
I mean, even Faction Brazil also now starting to get involved. As they slowly tap across the way. Their teammate also, NTS, also trying to just make up for a bit of ground there. But Zebra Master now getting a play up on towards Zeus Boy. This could be that opening for Bro. But I'm not quite sure if they are aware of what is unfolding down below. Setting out the utilities. Frog going for the pickup. No change up really.
Nothing change up. Yeah, this is gonna be, it looks like some good old central gameplay here as we're right in the middle of Pachinki. I do love urban finishes because it just gets so intense here. We're gonna see a lot of teams try to make plays. Wow, Miyaki making it happen there. That's gonna be 3 eliminations for him. Team Falcon still up. 1 elimination so far, 3 players. And that's going to be on that other edge of Pachinki. Bro still up here trying to survive. And Rolls of War now with 4. Putting some work in here. Oh, actually, but yeah, that is going to be them going out. And so we're going to see 9 teams remaining. And here comes the push from Intense Game. Bro, holding down this angle. Trying to make something happen. An Intense Game. Every time they push, they just lose a player. So it just gets delayed time and time again.
Yeah, but I mean, just looking at this whole position here, the rest of the Gizmo team, they're going to have a pretty tough time, I would say, defending if Intense were to maybe make up some ground here. But they still have a little bit of the safety barrier that is coming through from those shots there from Zebra. Of course, the rest of the Gizmo team are going to be focusing their way up on towards the north, now trying to halt any advances coming through here from Faction Brazil, potentially even the players there from Horaesport. But still, nothing changing up here with Bro. Now it's going to be Intense pushing up onto the roof. The play is there. The first trade is in.
Oh my goodness.
2 down. Oh!
Got him though. They end up taking him out from across the way. So Gizmo able to ruin Intense Game. And let's see. I think they're going to go and try to make that cross and pick him up. Here they come in that buggy. Full sending it. This is very risky. And it looks like he does get knocked in the process. And sometimes you just have to take the sacrifice, and unfortunately, it just became a little bit heavier.
Yeah, sometimes you risk it, and you get no biscuit at the end. Now, of course, Ruch also still having to push through here, as they are going to be looking now to just inch their way through, sneaking up from that southern side of Pachinki. The rest of the team's pretty focused on all the carnage we've heard now, just erupting close towards Center Zone. But this is where I'm getting a little bit worried, though, looking at a team like Smoke, right? Exposed on the edge, and they still have the players from Be Bold yet to move in behind them.
Let's see what the play is going to be. As we see Yaki. Oh, nice shots. Quick peek. That's going to be 8 eliminations for Smoke Gaming. Good one for them. And now we're going to see the Falcons. They've been creeping their way up ever so slowly, very sneakily, into this Pachinki position due to that zone shift. They do realize that if the zone keeps going in this direction, they're going to probably have to take that church up on top. But at the same time, they have to keep an eye on their back. So their ears are definitely perked and getting ready to go here as we are about to head into Stage 7. Still quite a few teams up here.
Yeah. A lot of teams, not a lot of action at the current moment. Icy, got a few nades in hand there. Maybe prepping for a little bit of a surprise play. So you can see Top also just manning them ears. But Falcons as you said, right, inching their way forward, coming through on this eastern side. Still a lot of opposition up ahead. Zebra Master, I mean, they've been just playing such an opportunistic position here. Every time they spot an opportunity, they get up, they lay the shots, they drop back down. So I'm curious to see whether or not anyone's going to be able to maybe just push them out of that building. But maybe the zone could have some other plans for them.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough though. They only have 2 players up, only 1 elimination, so they do have a great position, but they don't really have the players to support it. So I think they're trying to play just very, very quietly here, just get some consistent points on the board, and then come back here for the next one because these teams up on top are very, very well set up. Meanwhile, yeah, I mean, Hora's gonna be one of them. You can see top trying to get those shots. Oh, gets beat up quick, peek back. And survives a little bit longer. This next zone, perfect shift for all of these teams, pretty much. So they don't got to move a muscle. It's just some more hurry up and wait.
Yeah, unless you part of the Hura team, right? You still have a little bit of ground to cover moving in from that northern side. And I think looking at the angle that they are taking to get in here, there's a few limited options, right? They're going to obviously try and play for that church position, as I think that would be a very wise call to make at this point. But looking at Faction Brazil, they're going to look to contest. Hugo from Gizmo definitely will not want them rushing up onto that position.
Hoorah indeed. Yeah, Gizmo, last player up. Unfortunately, if they would have just kept all 3 in this position, they would have been so set up. But you know, sometimes you got to take that bet. You know, you really want first place. You want your whole team. But that 2-2 split was going to be tough. And hopefully that's a lesson that you learn. You know, it's just unfortunate that it has to be learned here at the highest stage. And right now, Faction Brazil looking really good. Lots of angles, 3 players still alive. Looking to make things happen here. So, hoorah, they do have the most players up. The only team with 4. And they're going to start pushing here in a couple seconds on to Gizmo. Last player up is Hugo. If they're able to secure this church, they're going to be in a great position for the rest of this match.
100% agree with you on that. But, yeah, the pressure is now on for Hugo. Plays coming through. Hurrah, starting to do their due diligence. 1 nade could end it here for Gizmo. You can see Hugo about to get pushed. Up comes Sky. Oh, quick step. DBS in hand. This could be it. Oh.
Oh, wait, he got a double?
Wow.
No way. This is crazy. We're seeing this happen time and time again, where it's just 1 player up against a full team, and they're putting in work. That just goes to show you the level that we're playing at, folks. You know, just because it's just 1 player up, you cannot slip. You know, because any team could just think, oh, yeah, it's 1 player, go in 2v1. We'll cover the backside, you know?
Ooh.
No. Send the whole squad just in case, because if they sent just those 2, both of them are gone. Thirsted instantly.
Yeah. No, that would have been the end right then and there. But speaking about the end, though, that zone shift pulling in favor of Zebra Master. I think Falcons, they are also going to be smiling from ear to ear because now they know that Hurrah and the teams surrounding them will have to just creep their way even closer up in towards the zone. So I think Faction Brazil, Hurrah, they're going to be in for a very tough ride.
Yeah, you know, Team Falcon's always so dangerous. You can see Top up on top of the roofs. So he's in a really good position here. The only problem is that with Hurrah's spot right now, you know, if they got knocked, they're able to get the res. The problem is though, they can't get knocked right now because the zone is starting to creep up on them. They have to leave, and it's going to be tough. Yeah, they're going to have to do it with some vehicles. That is going to be the way because they got to push down very rapidly, and they're most likely going to break into one of those buildings where the Falcons are. But if the Falcons are smart, they'll be ready to gatekeep little by little. And that's what they do. They apply that pressure. They don't let them push onto them, but to that little blue building right in front of them.
Yep, and I mean, they can just have their way with him all the way from here. As you can see a beautiful nade here from Noze, just peeking in. Next one going up top, not quite finding anything at this point, but this is a great opener now coming through for the Falcons.
Oh, yeah, they're going to stick this out. They're going to gatekeep this team until they're all done for. They realize they're the greatest threat. There's Top getting a huge nade elimination, and that's just picking off the squad with the most players up. And just like that, it's now even with Team Falcons. Man, this squad is so good at just having 1 player go up against an entire team and just disrupting them entirely.
We're not even surprised to see that happening at this point, but let's see just how far the Falcons are going to look to push this one. As you can see already coming into this match, they sat on 24 points, only 2 eliminations for now, but we've hit stage 9, right? No more zone, no more closures other than the blue. That is it. This is the final push for everybody left in this lobby.
That is right. This zone is going to dwindle down into nothing, and you can see it starting to close. Here they go. It is Zebra Master. They do have the most central spot, so they're able to gatekeep a little bit, but one wrong step, and you're getting knocked. This nade could be huge. Laydown nades are so deadly. He goes, and he does hop up a little bit, misses the nade, panicked at the last second, and now he's going to have to do it with his gun skill.
I mean, talk about a oops, right? That was a oopsie right there. Not quite sure if Zebra Master is going to be able to recover from that now. It is going to be up to Smoke, also still trying to pick up a bit of ground as they push up on that southern side. Up comes the play, or Zebra looking to clutch it. They do find a one. Top is down. Now the rest of the Falcons have to clear this compound.
Here they go. We're seeing players go down like flies, eliminated back to back. Hoorah still on the other side there, being a thorn in everyone's side. Meanwhile, Zebra Master gonna go ahead and just start popping down, taking out players with that DBS. Team Falcon still alive. He's trying to get those reses off, but it's not gonna be able to happen as they come on down. He goes for the knocked player, gets knocked in return as the Team Falcons still survive for now. It's now to Hoorah's time to push, and they do, only to get knocked by Faction Brazil.
Ooh. Falcons not out of it just yet, right? Still stepping up to the plate, but now it is down to a 1v1v1. Hoorah! Getting ended. Icy moving up. Cool, calm, and down they go.
What a finish! I thought Icy got to that car. I really thought he got there safely, but just gets shot at the last second, and a huge chicken dinner. You can see the relief on Faction Brazil's faces. These guys are pumped, and this was a must-need win for them. You can see that, a little fist pump right there, and that exhale. That just lets you know what these guys are feeling.
I mean, what a bounce back though, coming in through Faction here, right? They got a 1 elim in game number 1. Now they end themselves in spot number 1. What a bounce back. But what an insane play. I mean, down to a 3v3 to have the chicken decide a 1v1v1. Insane.
Oh my gosh, you saw him just go, that's just so like, yes, and then, oh my gosh, that was tough, you know, and that's what these players are feeling, but it's still so crazy to consider that, you know, we saw Team Falcons in that top 2 once again. It's just absolutely ridiculous as we go ahead and take a look at the highlights from this first Aaron Gale match. Match number 2, and there's only 4 more left to go. Oh, there was actually a knife finish? Wow.
That was in the beginning, yeah. Right at the get-go. I mean, you got no weapons, right? You got to make a plan. But, yeah, I think this was a very, very exciting play that we had right here up in towards the edge of Rozhok. I mean, upset upon upset upon upset coming through here.
Absolutely. You know, we saw I-Fi's do a great job of just making things happen. Beautifully played here. Perfect timing, right? To get that knock from the side and instantly run out. Monkey with that 1v pretty much 3 in that scenario. It was a double, but then Vitali cleaning him up with that DB right at the end. It's beautifully done. That DP so powerful. Meanwhile, Team Falcons, we saw them just pushing forward. It's so hard to take this team out completely.
Yep. I mean, it requires a lot of blue zone damage near the end. Gotta say though, Smoke Gaming also really stepping it up this match, right? We did see that super aggressive play that they made over on towards Moneymakers. A little bit of run me over action also then coming through here, as we did see the Whales of War having their hand in a little bit of an upset. Yeah,
I did think Whales of War played that pretty well as in that position. You know, they were pushing out, getting into some fights, getting some nice eliminations. This was an interesting one for me. You know, Gizmo, they decided to go for this 3-1 split, and I think sometimes that can be a tough position because it's so difficult for one player to hold that spot, especially when you have vehicles you know that are going to push in that direction. They go for that res, lose a player, and then just got taken out bit by bit here. And then here's that final, that end gameplay where it was just absolute madness.
Oof, and the madness didn't stop there. This was that play, right? Icy coming so so close. Quick pickup over on towards Malik. There we have it. I mean, if it wasn't for that extra bit of blue zone damage, I mean, things could maybe have come out slightly different. But, I mean, looking at the damage graphs, right? This was a super active match.
Oh, 100%. Look at that. Faction Brazil ending up with 1,500 damage. Hoorah! Ending up with 1,700. 8 eliminations between 3 different teams. Very, very good division, I think, amongst eliminations when it comes to you just looking at this graph and that last game in general.
Yeah, I mean, a few teams also chomping on some bubbles, as we saw there. Invictus still managing to find a little bit of damage along the way, but Hi-Fi's, again, is backing in some decent elim.